This is the energy I brought with me into 2025. This is one of the better business books I've ever read, and I've read close to 1,400 books so far. I've taken complete notes on every single one of them. I'm not sure exactly how many of those were business books, but hundreds and hundreds, like 500 plus. This is in my top 10. Nine Figure Mindset is a phenomenal book, and it's not even so much about a dollar amount or some specific revenue benchmark. It's a way of thinking, it's a way of moving through the world on a big scale, no matter what you choose to do. I took about 5 pages of notes from Nine Figure Mindset, and the author, Brandon Dawson, he sold his company for about $151 million a few years ago. And then he built up another company to about 500 million in valuation. So he knows a thing or two about a thing or two when it comes to building businesses. I learned a ton, and I want to pass along my top 10 takeaways that will put you further ahead than 99% of people. And I'll start by asking, what do you actually want to do? What do you want to achieve? No matter what you want to do, everything's already been done. And I don't mean that it's been done so you shouldn't try. I mean that it's been done. Some other, limited, somewhat, at least somewhat flawed human being has done it. And most of the time they've written a book or several books, or they've recorded podcasts, or they've done something to pass that along that you can read or watch or learn from, that you can learn how to do it too. So everything's already been done. Creativity is overrated. Find somebody who's done something that you want to do, pay them for their time, whether that's, their book or, personal coaching one-on-one. Just, get what they know from inside their head into yours, and then commit to relentless implementation, and you will get results. Which brings me to the first takeaway from Brandon, which is that the fastest way to succeed is to find the closest example of what you want to accomplish and model yourself after the person who achieved it. That's really how it gets done. And the next takeaway is about resilience and resourcefulness. See, the world is starved for true leadership. You can become the leader that we're all waiting for, and it is absolutely urgent that you do that as fast as humanly possible. We need that leadership now, and the future will not wait. And like Brandon says in the book, know that if you give up, those around you will also give up, and that if you develop true resilience and resourcefulness, those around you will discover the same qualities in themselves. Next, you've got to look at what you're talking about now, what you're discussing. So, are you talking about like latest sports scores or some, political nonsense? Like, what are you talking about and discussing? Who are you spending time talking to about these things? Do they support you, or do they laugh at you? Like, are they headed in the same direction, or are they slowing you down? And the takeaway here is not directly from him, but from one of Brandon's mentors. Hector Lamarck said, if you want to know where you're going in the future, just listen to what you're talking about right now. Next, I want to bring up a damn good question, and it's from Nine Figure Mindset. Brandon asks, when you think about what's possible, why settle for what's realistic? This is a great question because realistic is so fucking boring. Don't be boring, be exhilarating. Push the limits of the impossible and expand the possible. Don't hold back. No matter how much money you earn or don't earn, that is what having a nine figure mindset is all about. The next takeaway is more practical in a business sense, and we're talking about cash flow. Cash flow can decide whether your business lives or dies, whether it succeeds or dies like a leverage burdened death. Being successful in business is all about finding what works and basically surviving until you figure that out. And then once you get to that point, once you figure it out, once you find something that works, just keep doing that thing and don't stop doing that thing until it stops working. And just remember what Brandon says, using cash flow as a strategy for startup growth puts your success in your own hands, along with your willingness to do whatever it takes to achieve your dream. One thing that the billionaire investor Charlie Munger said is that everything works on incentives. Basically, if you want to understand everything, just look at the incentives. How is the game set up? How is it structured? And what does that incentive structure incentivize people to do? What does it make them want to do? Because the truth is that everyone will do what is aligned with their own best interests. So if you align your interests such that your best interests are in the same best interests as the people you do business with, then the incentives are aligned and you'll both win. And what Brandon does here, this is a direct quote from the book. He says, we offer to become their partner and exchange equity in our management group for equity in their company, thus aligning our personal, professional, and financial interests. Remember, the goal is not to sell them, but to help them grow and realize their dreams. We just take a management fee and a percentage of their upside we help them create in their business. In return, they own a piece of our new management company as long as they stay with us. This means they receive passive income in the form of regular dividends from our real estate holdings. Our relationship works more like a partnership than a strict client consultant arrangement. This next takeaway has to do with self-knowledge and how you should never close yourself off from hearing the truth. And Brandon gets right to the point here when he says everything you learn about yourself is good news, even the stuff that seems unflattering. This next one doesn't take a whole lot of explanation either. Brandon quotes Ephraim Epstein when he says, if you haven't given up, you're still on the road to getting it. Takeaway number 9 is informed by one of the best quotes I've ever heard about achieving success, and that comes from Zig Ziglar when he said that you can get anything you want in life as long as you help enough other people get what they want. And again, this doesn't take a whole lot of explanation, and Brandon says in the book, helping others achieve success is your key to freedom. Lastly, number 10, what you absolutely need to understand is that the world is rich and infinitely abundant in resources and opportunities for people who are willing to work hard and go after them, and for those who are willing to cooperate with others in order to create even bigger success. My entire life has been shaped by that idea as well, and it aligns closely with what Brandon says in the book. An abundance mindset believes there is an infinite number of opportunities for an infinite number of people. Now, there are 8 additional takeaways from 9-Figure Mindset. I've written them all in an article that you can just read for free, and I'll put that link in the video description, as well as all of my notes from 9-Figure Mindset. You can just have them for free, and as well another book, actually 2 similar books, and I've read both of them this year. One of them is going to help you put the practical business stuff into action from 9-Figure Mindset, and that's A High-Performing Mind by Andrew Thompson. That's another phenomenal book that I just finished. All my notes, again, free down in the video description, along with my full reading list. And then there's this one too. It's called Win Your Next Hour by Danny Lair. And again, I mean, if you combine everything that you learned from these 3 books, from 9-Figure Mindset, from A High-Performing Mind, and what's called the WIN framework from Win Your Next Hour, you may or may not ever build a 9-figure company. You may not sell your company for $151 million or something, but you'll get much further than you would have otherwise. You'll get ahead of 99% of people who are not reading these fantastic books. Thanks for watching this video. I've got the next video all queued up for you. And always remember, bookmarks are for quitters.
I don't waste time, no, I make time. All these people wanna hate, fine, I'ma make mine. While you sitting there complaining, I'll be training. While you sitting there just waiting, I'm creating. Yeah, sometimes I think that I'm unstoppable.